And welcome. I apologize. Welcome back, everyone, to another CranKy Ducklings cast. We are live with ESL Open Cup Asia number 93. Let me just share my screen here as we are diving straight in to a series, mate.
Yeah, I got confused because we did qualifying.
Yeah, god damn it, yeah. I was also trying to invite you, but you were in unit preloader. Shaking my head, but welcome. Of course, I am Light_VIP, your host for the day, apparently, and joining me for the first time today, for the first time in a long time, because it's been a while since we've casted this tournament. Welcome, Yaku of the Zaku.
I just realized how long it's been since we did ESL Asia.
It's been over a month, mate.
It feels a little bit longer because before that we had like those 2 ESL Asias that we did in between another month of not doing it.
We really did. Mate, why don't you just introduce our players here in the bottom right?
Why don't I? Yes! We start things here on Curious Minds. LE just messed me up. Not getting here. Not coming to us live here in the bottom right hand corner of the map, swatting all the way in the bottom right hand corner. The red Protoss player coming down from the land of Korea. He's going to be representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming DPG. We have Zest.
And spawning in the top left hand corner of Curious Minds LE, we have the blue Zerg player. Some know him as Shinhee Byum, but I just realized I got the name wrong in casting tool. It is RagnaroK.
Wait, what is it? Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I had him as Nightmare. Hold on, let me just RagnaroK. Beautiful mate. And this is a fresh series.
Indeed it is, jumping straight into the quarterfinals over here. Fortunately, there was that little bit of a delay.
That there was, but we are here and mate. I'm so excited to be back for multiple reasons. One, it's been a while since I've casted with you. GPO was quite some time ago. Not just that,
like
but
a week ago.
Yeah, and mate, it's RagnaroK. We were talking about the lack of Zergs, and RagnaroK is back.
He is. I also saw Armani came back earlier on, but unfortunately, it did get taken out by Creator, but it is great to see both of them back. I remember there was a time where we didn't quite have the top tier Zerg players of Korea signing up, but we could always count on the 2 of them.
Exactly, and we were talking about the drought that we had where Armani and RagnaroK were inactive for quite some time, so it's great to see them returning once again here. And we'll see how they do, because you mentioned him earlier. Armani, I believe, was already knocked out.
He was, unfortunately.
And if I'm not wrong, I think RagnaroK may be the last remaining Zerg player.
I believe so, actually. Yeah, he is. Got 2 Terran players in the form of Bjorn and Time, and everybody else, aside from RagnaroK here, is a Protoss player.
Yeah, exactly. RagnaroK, he is holding the Zerg dream strong for us all. Can he do it against the player of a caliber of Zest? I believe he can, but he's got to be on point here. The other thing that we have to point out is that, this is the first ESL Open Cup Asia with the new map pool.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, of course, we did have last week's ESL Open Cups being delayed due to website maintenance. That's the official reason anyway. I like to believe that they were just giving it a little bit more time, to get the maps situated.
Yeah, you believe a lot of things, Yaku. Oh god. But here we go. The maps may be different, but the players are the same, because Zest is going for Glaive Adepts. He is going without the Robo this time, and he's just banking up as many as Adepts as possible and going out across the map. Thankfully, we do have a Roach Warren finishing up for RagnaroK, so he will have access to those roaches. Oh my god.
If RagnaroK is actually the player who's going to be clearing a path?
Yeah.
Oh my lord.
Queen push! Queen push through the middle! Let's go!
I am so curious as to how this will play against Glaive Adepts like this. I was going to say, thankfully for RagnaroK, Curious Minds can have a very straightforward rush distance once those rocks get cleared, but this early on, it's probably not too big a concern.
Yeah.
RagnaroK it doesn't care whatsoever.
Exactly. Like the problem is that this queen push is great against Stargate openers. Against Glaive Adepts though, not so much, and we see why, because there's not enough on the ground to deal with the Glaive Adepts. 6 drones already going down.
These queens were not at all in position to swat away these Adepts. RagnaroK just doesn't quite have the Ling or the Roach count to really deal with these Adepts.
Yeah, they actually escaped through
And now
that hole in the wall.
RagnaroK set it up for them.
Aye, but you know what? This third base, it's dead, mate. There is no way for Zest to really hold on to this as the Queen Waddle is coming across the map. We do have a transition into double Stargate Void Ray, but you know what? The Void Rays are not ready. There's only one Void Ray at the moment. That is not going to be enough here to hold on to the third.
And you were mentioning how Queen walks like this are great against Stargate builds, so that's why it was kind of a relief that Zest wasn't going for it. Well, now he is.
Yeah, unfortunately. So because of that, Zest has to give up the base, and RagnaroK is content with the third. He's going back home.
Yeah, not going too all in here. He knows when to stop when he's ahead. He doesn't want to go completely all in.
Exactly. My god. Meanwhile, as we get into this...
That's what I like about RagnaroK, man. This is why I miss him so much.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he has the biggest brain when it comes to the South Korean Zerg players. You love to see it. I also want to give a bit of a shout out to Lord Loken. Thank you so much for the 100 bits. It happened during the break in between the tournaments. So massive shout out to you. And yeah, hopefully we don't let you down, because it's been a while. We're a little bit rusty when it comes to the ESL Open Cup Asia, but mate, I am excited. I am hyped. And yo, RagnaroK, he's doing it.
He's getting close. He wants to knight at third once again. And honestly, he's in a really good position to do so. He's already got the creep highway set up. There's not any defenses here yet. The shield batteries still need to get finished producing.
Exactly. We need the Roach Ravager to help support deal with those shield batteries. The Lings are a little busy, and they get a full surround on the Adepts. At the same time, in comes the Roaches, the Ravagers, and the Queens.
Full of corrosive vials do land on top of the shield battery, but it is still standing for now. Fortunately, the target firing not quite there for RagnaroK.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like one Queen will fall, and there's not enough energy for more transfusers, so maybe these Queens can start getting picked off one after the other. But at the same time, I feel like this third should go down. We have the overcharge, though.
Does get popped. It's very exposed shield battery, and now RagnaroK is starting to target them down. And with that, Zest just doesn't quite have the units to hold on to this base. He can retreat to the natural, but then he'll just be contained on 2 bases.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where, once again, RagnaroK is droning up. Like, he killed the third for the second time in a row, and now he's content to go back home. The problem is, though, that Void Ray count, it's actually gotten pretty high. Like, there's no Spire, there's no Hydrogen, there's only Queens to help defend.
And while I would like to say that's all you need, in addition to maybe a Spore Crawler or 2, you do need transfuse energy with those Queens. If you want to defend against these many Void Rays, another Queen gets picked off.
Oh my god, and both Spores as well before they finish up. The Queens are enough to push this away, but that was so close there. Zest could have dealt some damage, but RagnaroK was here just in time to defend.
Yeah, I guess he knew that Zest was going to go for the counterattack, which, again, ties back to his big brain. Can take a Protoss player for this long while they're building Void Rays. Eventually, they're going to want to make use of those Void Rays.
Exactly. He read Zest so well here. He does come back, but this will give Zest the breathing room he needs to get a third base. It was delayed for a long time, but if this gets up and running, then Zest, he's still in this.
And honestly, I'm starting to get a little bit worried for RagnaroK. He droned up a little bit earlier on, but he's only now working on the 4th base.
Yeah. I don't think this
while Zest has map control.
Exactly, like we see it. This hit squad is going to hit this third base. There's no creep here. It's going to be cancelled, and it's going to be a struggle for RagnaroK to actually get a 4th base up and running.
Yeah, the Void Rays coming in for a multi-prong left and right, north and south.
Yeah, exactly. We do see a gas geyser being taken out. We do see more Void Rays head towards the natural. These ones are going to be dealt with by these Queens. As we do see a recall, the Roach Ravager forcing Zest to come back home.
And again, this buys RagnaroK a little bit of breathing room. But Zest is already caught up economically. You know, we're on even bases, even worker count. This can only favor the Protoss player.
Yeah, like, I'm really worried for RagnaroK right now. He's working on a Spire, but he's just not going to get this 4th up. Like, once again, we're going to see another cancel.
Wait, this is mad. You want to deny my third twice? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's make sure you never get a fourth.
You just never get a fourth, mate. Just never at all. We do see RagnaroK is trying to push it now with his queens, but I feel like the time of queens has come and gone. We'll see. We'll see if the transfusions are good enough. Maybe he can break through.
Yeah, I kind of had a little bit of hopes of those corrosive vials landing, but it did seem like Zest moved away just at the last second.
That he did.
A little bit ballsy making that robo facility there.
It's incredibly exposed.
It really is.
But so far...
And you've mentioned it time and time again, on a map like Curious Minds, this Zert base has multiple angles of attack.
It really does. Unfortunately, because of the creep, there's only one angle here for RagnaroK.
No.
It's just straightforward.
Theoretically, there'd be multiple.
Yeah, there would. And I'm really curious because RagnaroK is going mass muta. I thought the Spire was going to be for Corruptors to try and brute force his way through this Sky Toss, but no. He wants to go from mutas to harass, and that is so risky because now out comes the carriers and the Void Rays.
He really has a lot of faith in his queens and spore crawlers. Spore crawlers that aren't burrowed just yet. RagnaroK is really hoping that he can force a recall. But even if he does force a recall, he has a very limited amount of time to get out with his Mutalisk.
It really does. The Flock, the Apocalypse of Mutas is diving in. How many? 24 Mutas in total. More than enough to one-shot everything here in the main base, and it actually does force Zest back home.
Yeah, it doesn't use a recall, but does take a long way around. On a short map like Curious Minds, it doesn't take too long, but it's enough time for RagnaroK to pick off 14 probes.
Oh yeah, 14 probes, a Void Ray, a second Void Ray gets picked off as well.
Essentially,
he loses a lot of mutas there.
Yeah, I kind of feel like he's sending these mutas on a suicide mission at this point.
Oh yeah, definitely.
He just wants to get as much damage as possible. He wants to transition out to, is that Infestors he's getting?
Oh yeah, 7 Infestors are on the way. Hopefully we see Neural Parasite. We actually do not see Pathogen Glands, so that means that these Infestors, it's going to take them a long time to actually get energy to be useful.
It really will. Infestors, unfortunately, they can't suck up youth juice the way Vipers can.
Unfortunately, man, they're just built different. They just can't suck it up. Meanwhile, only 4 carriers, but RagnaroK doesn't bite. He doesn't go for it. He is forced all the way back. At least he still has these mutas, so he's making it hard for Zest to move out. But what's scary is that Zest did get this 4th up. It survived, and now we have equal bases.
We do, don't we? We're just not exactly equal when it comes to PvZ. I will say that RagnaroK is getting pretty close to maxing out, though.
He is. So he's been staying on top of his macro. There is the Neural Parasite. With that, he can take control of the carriers of Zest. So, I mean, that's going to be the ideal scenario if he gets close enough. That's the big caveat there.
Yeah, he might have enough Infestors to Neural Parasite each one of those carriers. And Zest isn't making any more, is he?
Yeah, there's only 4 carriers. That's not that much.
There we go.
On top of that, these Void Rays are so prone to bunching up, so they can very easily be fungled.
It's going to be a follow-up, though, for the fungal here for RagnaroK.
Yeah,
that's what I want to know.
That's the
Corrosive
problem.
Vials, maybe?
That's the problem, right? We have Ravagers for Corrosive Vials. We have so many Queens, we just don't have Corruptors. Which is an intentionality from RagnaroK, but yeah.
Well, it's intentional. We didn't say it was a good move. But so far it is working out for him. He is getting a decent amount of harassment done.
Yeah, the problem is these Void Rays. Like, Queens are okay against Void Rays head-to-head, but Void Rays outmaneuver Queens hard. See, look, the Queens need to move all the way around to go into the main.
Yeah, that's a very awkwardly positioned 4th base, isn't it? So without Corruptors, as you were mentioning, it will take a while for anti-air defenses to get to position. Is that a hive or is that a lair? Regardless, it is going to go down.
That it will. The hive does go down. Unfortunately, we have a recall, but the Neural Parasite does not quite do anything there. Even though he had mind controlled them, the recall does kind of supersede that. Take priority.
I wonder how that works. Huh.
Yeah, so everything was recalled back home. That's already a lot of lost energy there for the Infestors. They're trying to throw down Microbial Shrouds, but the Novas are going off.
I didn't even notice that there were Disruptors here. In a blink of an eye, RagnaroK has lost his army lead, and he is looking to lose this game as well.
Exactly. He had just spent so much energy trying to deal with the Void Rays. GG gets called, and Zest takes the first game.
Nicely done. Really did seem like it could go either way for quite some time there. I really liked RagnaroK's initial idea. Or I suppose I really like how he played that out initially. Going for a big queen walk, but never getting too ahead of himself. Fortunately, didn't. I guess he didn't expand when he could have. Perhaps.
No, yeah, his fourth was late. His fourth was so late. It was insane. So because of that, like, we saw that by the time he was getting around to actually expanding and taking bases, Zest was stopping him every single time.
Yep. Already building up that Void Ray count from earlier on. Broke out of his contain pretty well. Took quite some time for him to check up to RagnaroK, I mean, but I think that just goes back to the fact that it also took him a while to expand and get enough of an economy to tech up.
Yeah, he was just stuck on queens for so long, and the infestors, like, their use of energy wasn't exactly the best either. Before that big fight that we saw, and just like that, Zest only needs uno más, mate, to move on.
That he does. Speaking of Zest, here we are on Berlingrad LE. We're in the bottom right-hand corner map, starting all the way in the bottom right-hand corner. The red Protoss player coming out from the land of Korea. He is going to be representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming, DPG. People have pointed out that he has a stay-at-home Story Cup match in about 12-ish hours from now, but mate, it wouldn't be an ESL Open Cup without Zest, especially not in ESL Open Cup Asia. Speaking of, the red Protoss player, Zest.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Berlingrad LE, we have the South Korean Zerg player representing Alpha X. It is RagnaroK.
Do you think Zest slept since his match in stay-at-home Story Cup a couple hours ago?
I imagine he did.
Like 12-ish hours ago. So when I woke up at like 11, it was about midnight KST. I think Zest played his match at about 2 or 3 a.m. KST. I was awake to watch that. So my question is, did Zest pull a me and just stay up the entire time, or did he nap at all?
The real question is, was it live or was it through replays? Because
it was live.
Okay. Because I know the group stage was done through replays. But yeah, I imagine he slept. There's been plenty of time since. So yeah, man. Look. I'm pretty sure your issues actually sleeping are unique to you. Okay. Like, look.
Oh, that's what my trick says.
God damn it, Yaku. Oh god. But regardless, I'm excited. I want to see what RagnaroK has to offer here. I love that he was trying to execute a queen push through the center of the map on the previous map on Curious Minds, and it was working. He was doing what he needed to. It was just the follow-up that was lacking, right?
I would have to agree with you on that one. I am especially excited since, as you were mentioning, we have a new map pool. This is kind of where players like Zest and RagnaroK, maybe not RagnaroK yet. I think maybe a week or two is really when players like RagnaroK get to really experiment around and see how they can make use of the map. But players like Zest are very quick to adapt, I would say.
Yeah, that they are.
I'd have to imagine that RagnaroK was theorizing at the very least, though.
Yeah.
Once he knew what new maps were going to be.
I would imagine so as well. I feel like RagnaroK's just that kind of player, especially because he has his own YouTube channel, so he's probably making some guides or some analysis of the new maps. Yep. So we'll see what he has in store for us. So far, nothing too crazy. Berlingrad is one of the smaller maps. The rush distance is pretty short on this map as well, so it does.
Yeah, it's basically the shortest rush distance map in the current pool, isn't it?
Yeah.
If not for the fact that it was green, I would say that it is the new Beacon Industries, but we all know it's Heartwire.
Fuck up.
Raider agrees with me.
Rainer's also blind, mate. He only sees color, mate. That's all he sees.
What's the opposite of colorblind? Instead of not seeing colors, you only see colors.
He only sees colors, mate. And yeah, we'll see. We'll see how this goes. So far, everything's pretty standard, which is a little bit shocking to me. Zest is going into Stargate +1. We're gonna be seeing a Forge. Standard Zest things, right?
Pretty much. Despite having a short rush distance, it is also very compact. You can defend pretty easily on 3 and even 4 bases on this map. So I would not be surprised at all if Zest just turtles up to Skytoss this game.
And that's kind of what we're seeing so far. That's the thing about, like, look at this third, you know, there's choke points leading in, there's rocks protecting you as well. It's pretty well defended. The downside is that sure, your natural is maybe a little bit more exposed to run bys. But Zest is just walling off, mate, you know, it's just
pretty much. Surprised he hasn't walled off the 4th base yet.
I'm sure he's going to be on it, mate. Like, the Forge is on the way. He wants the cannon up. And what is RagnaroK's plan here? I have to wonder. He's doing well dealing with the initial Oracle. But we do have that Roach Warren on the way. We have a decent amount. We only have 6 queens. Okay. Sure.
So you need sometimes. He is getting a ton of roaches.
Yeah.
And while Zest would like to turtle up into Golden Armada tossed, with the amount of lings and roaches that RagnaroK is getting, I'm not sure if he's going to have the time.
Yeah, very interesting highway here. I mean, the queens are waddling. Once again, we're going to be seeing that queen march across the map. With these lings to reinforce, it's very possible that RagnaroK can hit and deny the stack defense before it's ready.
And he's looking to right now, chipping away at the Void Race before the shield batteries can really complete. And this time RagnaroK is a lot more committed. His highway isn't complete. He has no exit here for his queens.
Exactly, we do see a very nice Stasis Ward just keeping so many of these lings in check, but all the cannons are being focused down, all the shield batteries, there will be nothing to support these Void Rays.
Nice target firing from RagnaroK here. Look at how low all these Void Rays are collectively. A lot of them down to half health, even though it's only 4 queens. Now 5 queens. These queens have barely taken any hits. And there's still a little bit of energy on them.
Oh.
There's transfuse potential.
Yeah, meanwhile, that was very cheeky there. Zest saved the majority of his workers with a recall.
He did, didn't he? He baited out a bile or 2.
Yeah, my god. So sure, once again, Zest loses the 3rd base, but he's not dead. And his shield batteries, unlike the 3rd base, will finish in the natural.
But will it finish in time to save this Cybercore? Not quite. I'm waiting for the links to flood in.
God, I'm waiting as well. Unfortunately, RagnaroK is not pulling the trigger. He's droning up behind this, maybe getting a little bit too distracted. It looks like he doesn't want to try and go for the kill move.
Which is understandable. But at the same time, again, because there's no exit here for these queens, he will be losing a lot of these units, perhaps a little unnecessarily.
Yeah, and this is where I'm a little bit scared. Because, okay, we do have queens at home at the 3rd base. Are they going to get to the main in time? We have 2 spores, in total 4 spores. Okay, that should be enough. Unless Zest just YOLOs past the spores, gets behind the base, and focuses down the lair.
Oh, there's actually quite a lot of there's actually quite a lot of air to utilize here.
Yeah, that there
Didn't
is.
notice that.
Oh boy, so despite all the stack defense, it is possible for Zest to deal some damage. Much respect to RagnaroK though, just like, again, just doubling down on the stack defense.
Yeah. And he's tightening up his play this time, getting a much earlier 4th base and a 5th base as well, double expanding, plus a much earlier Hydra Den. He is prepared. He knows how to take the next step, and he's taking it.
Yeah, he's definitely reflected on the previous game. He's like, I see where I went wrong. And I don't want to be there again.
You know, yeah, they don't call him the big brain for nothing.
Exactly. Is that a big brain?
Yeah.
Funnily enough. Who'd have thought it?
Wait, is that why they call him that?
I think so. I think you're onto something.
Ah! Alright.
Meanwhile, a massive Ling run by here. He's trying to focus down the Nexus, but it's not going to be enough. He's forced away. The Void Rays still have not found any damage. It looks like he has decided not to try and go into a main base, but he's looking for that 5th.
You should be able to get it. So you just gotta realize and click.
Up.
One right there. They were on a move. Here comes the prismatic alignment. And RagnaroK is forced to cancel that. Thankfully, he does still have his 4th base up and running. But he wanted to double expand much earlier on. Here comes the signature Nidus Swarm, though.
Oh, let's go. We have a lot of queens. We have a lot of room for that Nidus. Meanwhile, RagnaroK was approaching this kind of like a ZvT. You double expand, expecting one of them to be denied, but that's fine because the goal is to just get an expansion up and running. Here we go. Nidus is up. Hydra's already across the map.
Oh, and there's nothing here yet. Carriers are looking very, very exposed. Warriors coming back. And honestly, there's not a whole lot to support these Hydra lists, but that is because the main base had Nidus coming out. Not going to be out in time, though.
But the queens...
Now here come the queens.
Yeah, the queens come out. They transfuse. They keep a lot of these Hydras alive. The carriers are not enough interceptors at all. All the interceptors were taken out. The Nova.
Word! Purification Nova, not quite enough. Or maybe it is. It did hit a lot of these queens. Getting them low enough for the Skytoss to clean up, perhaps? No.
At the same time, the Lings are hitting the 4th base. The Queens and Hydras are pushing through. Can he do it? We have another Nidus in the main. This one will finish.
Another very good Purification Nova from the side of Zest. Void Rays are cleaning up a lot of queens. They're very, very low on energy, but now he's just elevatoring into the main base, mate.
Oh, yeah, he doesn't even care. He's getting on top of the Stargates. The first Stargate will go down at the same time. It looks like all the Lings at the 3rd base were cleaned up, but damage is being done in the main. And if things ever look too scary, he can always evacuate and go back home.
This is what he was missing earlier on with that creep highway.
Oh, split, puppy, split.
Who needs to... Ooh, that's a pretty good split, actually.
Yeah, only one Hydra and one Queen go down. The Hydras are still standing strong. The Void Rays are not going to be enough. Another Purification Nova goes off.
Oh, that was a very juicy Nova. Enough to at least chase away the Hydras and the Queens, but the run by of Ravagers and Lings will take out a mineral line.
The drones, the probes.
Oh no! There's no escape. I see the fear in their eyes. They don't know where to turn.
They wanted to escape the Ravagers, but they ran into the Hydras. In the end, though, the majority of the probes will survive. I say that, but 20 probes died.
Yeah, with 69 drones. Nice. Versus 44 probes. Yeah, pretty good.
Pretty good. What's important, though, is that just the way that Zest was fighting was so impressive. He only lost one carrier. Like, it was really the interceptors.
Really?
Yeah, like, he was controlling his Skytoss so well, keeping the majority of his Void Rays and carriers alive. So because of that, like, his army is still looking decent, but he is lacking splash, relying a lot on these disruptors.
And to be fair, they have been doing a decent job so far, but now Muscalagus has finished up. The disruptors basically have no buffer on them.
Oh my god, exactly. The Lings, they need to close the distance. They need to get on top of those disruptors. Instead, they're a little bit too busy with the workers, with the mineral lines. And now we have pure Hydra coming up against the Skytoss.
Ooh, that was actually a really good Purification Nova. I was going to say, earlier on, it was much easier for Zest to land these were slow Hydras, but now it's a little bit easier for RagnaroK to split. Zest got one good Nova, but he's going to need a little bit more than that here.
Yeah, exactly. Zest, he is just barely able to force RagnaroK back. Novas are going off. Lings are finally getting on top of the disruptors, and it looks like finally 2 disruptors get picked up.
Well, basically all of them. Again, there's no real buffer for these disruptors.
Yeah, this is getting a little bit
immortal out now, but
yeah, this is getting scary. Because Zest, the carrier count is getting pretty high. 5, 6, 7 carriers. If you notice there, he was actually killing a lot of the Hydras. Hydras are pretty expensive, man.
They are, especially gas-wise. That said, Zest needs to go right now. This is the only window that is pretty rapidly shrinking. If you look at the income difference, RagnaroK is mining more than twice the minerals, about twice the gas. Zest has got a ton of carriers. But remember, interceptors cost money to produce.
Yeah, he's all in right now. We'll see how much damage he can do. He focuses down every single spore, and now it's pure Hydra, and we still have a couple Purification Novas left.
Yeah, Zest needs to land a couple of those and let the Sky Toss clean up. Is he doing it? It looks like it. Just barely. Not enough Hydras here for RagnaroK. GG is called, and Zest will take that series 2-0. But he had to fight for it. RagnaroK definitely made Zest sweat a little.
He did.
Very well played. Honestly, despite getting taken out 2-0, I'm really excited for RagnaroK here.
Yeah, like, unfortunately for RagnaroK, he wasn't able to kill those carriers, like, when they were in low enough numbers. As we saw, when the carriers get up to 6 is, like, the ideal. Zest had 7.
Yeah.
You can fight Hydras. Like, they cannot out DPS and kill the interceptors fast enough, especially in such a low Hydra count, because he was bleeding out a lot of Hydras, and they're expensive. He didn't have enough to survive the counterattack.
Unfortunately. That said, if this is RagnaroK coming back from a hiatus, I cannot wait to see what he's going to show us as the weeks go on. We got TSL qualifiers in about 1 week.
Yeah, TSL qualifiers are around the corner, so hopefully we see more of RagnaroK there. Meanwhile, it looks like we have our first semifinals ready. Zest versus Classic.